The only way they didn't require a deposit is if you let them pull your credit, which I'm not a fan of. So everyone pulls your credit for something and I don't see the need for it, so I just gave them a little extra money.
Yeah, don't touch my credit score, please.
Today we're going to talk about how much it costs to move to Alabama from a couple who moved here not once but twice. So if you want the ins and outs, make sure you watch this whole video because you're not going to want to miss what we have to share. What's up everybody, I'm Tony and this is my wife Jess and we're your real estate fam located right here in Lower Alabama. We make tons of videos with info about moving here and what life is like, so if you're thinking about moving down to Bama, don't go anywhere, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next video.
All right, without further ado, let's get into it. So we know everyone's situations are different, but for this scenario, we're gonna talk about a family of four, 2 adults, 2 children, moving from, say, a 3-bedroom house to another 3-bedroom house, just in another state. Kind of average, right?
Now, we can only speak to things that we know or have personally done. So if you're coming down to Alabama to purchase a home and you already have a 3-bedroom house, you're probably gonna look at the same type of house here as well. I've done a little research and it's pretty average. You're gonna find a 3-bedroom house in a decent community here in Alabama for about $275,000 to $500,000, depending on your finishes on average. And if you're looking to rent, you're probably gonna be in the $1,500 to $2,500 price point. And most places are gonna ask for first month, last month, and a security deposit. So your moving expenses are already above $4,000.
And if you have animals, there's probably pet deposits as well, which isn't far from a down payment on a house. So we always say you may as well purchase because you're gonna be building equity.
And a lot of landlords are asking for your credit score to be above 600, which can also, you can qualify for a house at that point and get a mortgage. So
why not?
Why not?
Now, obviously these prices would vary depending on your specific needs. If you want to be in more of a luxury area with a community pool or other amenities, then you're going to be paying a little bit more for that. Or if you want to be in something smaller, a little bit easier or more practical, then you can save a lot of money because they can be very reasonably priced and there's lots of them around here. At the end of the day, it all depends on your taste, budget, and what you want.
But with this market, expect to pay $275,000 or above for a 3-bedroom property in many desirable areas of Lower Alabama. You can even go to the apartment route like we talked about. For a 2-bedroom apartment can be found all over Mobile and Baldwin County, anywhere from, if you're going to Mobile, starting at $700 to say $2,500 a month. When it comes to making the big move, you got some options. So you can either choose to hire movers or you can move yourself. We recently did a poll with our viewers on Instagram and we came up with an average price for movers, which was between $6,000 and $10,000 depending on where you're coming from. This is where movers come to your home, load up the truck, and transport all your belongings to you. Now, that's just a roundabout price too, so if you're moving from, say, Washington State to Alabama, it's gonna be more because of the distance, but if you're only moving from, say, Tennessee to Alabama, it's gonna be a bit less. Probably half. Most people we find are usually moving here from the Midwest, and it ranges between $6,000 to $10,000 on average. And I can tell you from personal experience, we paid about $6,000 from Illinois, but that was a few years ago.
I recently spoke to a family who made a move here from Wisconsin, so the Midwest like us, and they paid a lot more for their move, like around $10,000. They actually had movers pack up their entire home for them, which was an additional expense. It sounded great though, so if you have that option, more power to you. Moving can be stressful, and having someone there to pack everything up will definitely alleviate a huge chunk of that stress.
So it's all up to you and your budget, but I'd say $6,000 to $10,000 coming from the Midwest or the Northeast is a pretty good estimate. Now, if you do the different route and go with a U-Haul or a Penske truck or any kind of moving truck for that matter, the average we've seen is about $4,000. Now, that being said, that is renting the moving truck along with a car trailer, because one adult is going to drive the moving truck with a car, so the other adult can drive that car, right?
Mm-hmm.
So assuming that you have the 2 vehicles, so renting a U-Haul is not a bad option if you want to save a few $1,000s.
The other option you can choose is to use pods or U-Pack, where they bring pretty much a storage container to your house and then you pack it up and then they're going to transport it to your new property. If you choose to do that, the price is right about in between the price of renting a moving truck and hiring movers. So it's a little bit in the middle. If you've hired movers, you still have to drive both your vehicles down to Alabama. Gas for driving 2 vehicles from a Midwest or Northeast state down here is going to run you about $1 million with the way gas is going right now. But seriously, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars in gas. I can't give you an exact number because everyone's cars are different, but you can definitely expect to fill up 2 or 3 times, so you can do the math. And for packing all your stuff up, you're going to be tired and you're not going to want to drive straight through. For us, coming down from Chicago, it was a 14-hour drive with very short stops, like gas and a drive-through. But if you throw a hotel in there too, you're looking at about $150 on average for a basic hotel room. Or if you're like our family, then you're going to want to get a suite, which is about $250 per night.
She worded that correctly. I'm lucky she didn't book a stay at one of the Trump Towers, and we were lucky that we settled for Candlewood Suites.
Well, we do have 2 dogs, a cat, 2 teenagers, and it's what we need. We need the space, especially for being in a tiny little car for 8 hours.
I know, I'm just giving her shit. But in all honesty, we could have made it straight through.
I saw them when you and Mom were trying to fold the map.
Audrey, when they close the road, they put up big signs like this one.
Yeah, but we spent about $200 or a little over for a hotel room, but that's for our family. We're trying to show a different scenario though, so I have to keep reminding my husband of that. And sometimes he seems to forget that we're not all able to power through like him, and some of us are actually pregnant, so driving 14 straight hours is a little hard.
Okay.
Relax, take it easy.
That said, we can forget about your food costs for your trip down, and a meal can cost you $40 to $50 if you're going to fast food restaurants. So you got to figure a day 2 trip, I'd say $150 to $200 you're going to spend on the road just for eating out, driving down there.
Now, if you're like Tony, then you're going to get yourself a cooler, some lunch meat, some cheese and bread, and the cost can significantly go down.
There's nothing wrong with that either. She makes it seem like I'm pinching pennies over here. I just love sandwiches.
Sandwich, I'm in love with you.
Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention before is if you go the U-Haul route, you're going to only have to drive down one vehicle and tow the other, right? But your gas costs are going to go up, so make sure that you take that into account. So if you hire the movers or you're driving your own stuff down and you're here, expenses are done, right?
No.
No, they're not. So if you're coming down with 2 adults and 2 vehicles, you're gonna have to get your Alabama driver's license and register your cars in Alabama. Now, the first time you go to do this, you're gonna spend about $37 for your driver's license, and that's for each of you. And then you have to do both your car registrations. You're looking at less than $40 for that. So all in all, less than $100 for one person, which is crazy because we used to spend $150 just on a license plate alone.
The last couple of things we're going to mention here are topics that are regularly missed by a lot of other places that talk about moving expenses when it comes to Alabama or anywhere really.
And the first one is you're going to have to restock your entire refrigerator and your food pantry. You're not going to bring all that stuff down with you.
No, we actually donated our food before we moved.
Yeah, we actually donated a lot of our food, a lot of our cow that we had just bought not too long ago. We gave away pretty much everything we had in our fridge. And I think it's pretty conservative estimate to say you're gonna spend at least $500 to $600 just to restock your fridge and your pantry. And that's probably on the low side. I lost that much just in meat alone. It was probably the saddest thing about our entire move.
Yeah, those people that got our cow literally won the lottery. But yeah, I think we are a smaller family, but our kids are a little older though, and let me tell you, they eat us out of house and home. So then you have to add dad to the mix, and oh my God, I'm constantly grocery shopping. Thank God for Instacart.
Yeah, so I guess our fridge restock was probably closer to $600, but we have more mouths to feed. Another thing we didn't know about is the required utility deposits. So for water and electric, the only way they didn't require a deposit is if you let them pull your credit, which I'm not a fan of. So everyone pulls your credit for something, and I don't see the need for it, so I just gave them a little extra money.
Yeah, don't touch my credit score, please.
You can probably bounce back from that pretty easily, but if you want to avoid the deposits, then yeah, let them pull your credit. And now the last thing we want to talk about is the added expenses once you get here. Random things you probably forget about.
Oh yeah, this stuff is random but very important.
You want to take it away then?
Yes. So ladies and gentlemen out there who may be a lot like us in the sense that you're in a new place, you're starting life over, we need new things, right? New house, new start. So I purchased new bed sets for the kids, for a guest bedroom, a new office decor, and new home decor in general, because the new house actually didn't match what we already had. Everything in our old house was coastal, and the new house is more traditional with earthy tones, so nothing matched at all. And I wasn't trying to pay over $15,000 to have the interior repainted.
Neither was I. And I had to get my surround sound back though, which was needed, and that was an expense, but you know, you get the idea. Lots of miscellaneous stops to Home Depot and Best Buy
And Target.
So I'm saying an additional $2,000 to $5,000 for random things once you get here. Now, if you're choosing to buy big furniture, it's gonna be quite a bit more. But I'm talking about random things around the house, like, I don't know, I need an extension cord to be able to reach the TV.
We lost our phone chargers during the move. Now we need new ones.
The beds, mattresses, you know, stuff like that. So just make sure you take that into consideration so you have a little bit of a cushion to move a little more
A
comfortable.
cushion.
That's what I said.
A cushion.
A
A
cushion.
cushion. After we moved, we sold our bedroom furniture because we didn't know how it was gonna fit, and of course it didn't fit. We found our new house online actually, and we had just put an offer in sight unseen. So when we got down here, we realized a lot of furniture didn't fit, so we had to get some new stuff. So that was kind of a bummer. Me personally, I wanted to get into my home, get everything set up so it could feel homey right away. And I guess that's not an absolute must, but for us, it was just an expense right away. And I don't know, for some reason, I thought it was gonna be a lot cheaper than it was.
Yeah, she always thinks that.
Always.
A new home, you always want to get new stuff for it, right? It just goes hand in hand, I guess. At least for us it does, or Jess.
Yeah, Tony estimated $4,000. However, he estimated that with a bunch of other stuff that he's gonna get into. So if you're like me and want that extra money to go splurge at Target or wherever, I'd set a little bit of extra aside, and we're gonna give you some tips and ideas how to offset that cost.
So if you haven't had a notebook handy and jotting down all these numbers I've been giving you, that's okay, because I got them right here for you. If you're planning on...
And they can rewind and watch it too. That's always something awesome about this video. You can always go back and see what we said.
Okay, in all honesty, if you don't have a calculator, I'll be your calculator for you.
Oh boy, you better check your work now.
Okay, so if we're gonna make the move with movers from someplace realistically close to wherever we were, like the Midwest, or if you come from the Northeast, like we mentioned with movers, I came up with a total of about $13,400. If you're gonna make the move yourself with a U-Haul, I'm at about $10,500. That being said, we believe it's very important to give yourself a cushion of at least a few $1,000s for those unexpected costs that could come up.
For us, we're the type of family that we would have never, ever made this move if we didn't have a cushion. That's just who we are, and it's just our opinion, but we like to play things safe. We would have never moved across the country away from everything we know, all of our friends and family, without having that cushion.
Now, let me tell you how to get that cushion. If you're coming from any other place in the entire country, more than likely you'll have a basement full of stuff. So what are you gonna do with all that? It's not gonna fit in the Alabama house because there's no basement here. So what we did is we hopped on Facebook Marketplace and we sold tons of our old stuff. And it was pretty easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was super easy.
And within about a month's time, we had so much stuff to sell. And within a short amount of time, we raised $5,000 on Marketplace selling a whole bunch of crap.
And if we had more time, we would have made more. So plan ahead of time. Like, you guys have no idea, your junk is somebody else's treasure and they will buy it.
Right? And that being said, a lot of people who are relocating are fortunate enough where they can sell their home with a profit, and that can help pay for some of their moving costs. So between what Jess just said and what you're able to raise from selling, you know, stuff from your house, or if you're selling your house in general, you know, you'll be there before you know it.
We had two separate cushions, profit from our home sale and profit from selling things in our house. One savings that we didn't touch, and the other one buying the things that we're gonna want, not necessarily need.
Also, overestimate what it's gonna cost you. Don't take our word for it and say, well, Tony and Jess said it's only gonna be $11,000 or $1,000. Make sure you call the utility companies, see if they require a deposit, get quotes from movers, see exactly what your moving expenses are gonna be.
Another thing we didn't think of is maybe you have family coming down with you to help. Maybe you have family that's already here that's going to help, and that could significantly help with some of those costs.
Absolutely. Get them to do it. Be like, I'm buying a case of beer, let's go.
He wants me to help him move.
Help him move? Move what?
You know, furniture.
But we're just gonna try to give you the things to look into to see what the exact cost is gonna be for you. The numbers we gave are just roundabout numbers, something to go off of, you know, a baseline. So don't call me and say I short numbered you. But that's all we have for our video today. If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. And as always, if you have any questions, please make sure you give us a call, shoot us, text, or email us. We made the move ourselves from Midwest down south to Alabama, and we'd love to help you guys with your move down here. We are local realtors down here in Lower Alabama, and we help people every single week with their move down here, and we'd love to help you guys with yours.
So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.